Hey designers, we are so excited to have Jared Barboza here with Heat Press Nation. We are going to be talking today about ins and outs and all the cool stuff that we've been seeing in 2024, and then what's coming out, what we think is going to be popular in 2025. I am so excited to have Jared here. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Karina. It is a pleasure to get to sit down with you. I believe we had planned to talk last year at Silhouette Summit in Hawaii, and then schedules yeah,
It didn't
just didn't work
happen.
out.
I ended up staying back for Gardner Quilts. I didn't even make it into the Silhouette Summit
Oh,
last year. That's what happened. So Riley Blake took precedence for me, and then of course the Design Suite program. But and then I didn't see you this year because you had another obligation, and I ended up going to Silhouette Summit this year. So so glad that we finally get to meet. I am an affiliate for Heat Press Nation. I'm
yep.
really, really excited to talk about what you see has been really popular this year, what people are into. So I'm just going to let you take it from here.
Sure, thank you. Well, so as far as what's popular, I feel like 2024 has been just the like the crest, the climax of this big direct to film wave. So for those who are not familiar, direct to film printing, uh, what's cool about this industry is everything. The name of everything is exactly what it does. So direct to film printing, you're printing directly onto the film, as the name implies. But it's been really cool to see it just absolutely take off. I know, things kind of come in waves in this industry. Like, of course, vinyl just had a chokehold on everybody, right, for years and years and years. Then sublimation started to really just take over. And then in kind of the higher end markets, we're seeing like direct to garment really had its time. And then now we're seeing direct to film, which is kind of like an offshoot of direct to garment printing. But we're seeing direct to film printing really just, to me, I feel like this wave is probably the biggest of them all to just come through the garment decoration industry so far. And so for Heat Press Nation, 2024 has been, I don't want to say completely dedicated, but it's direct to film printing has been just a huge part of our year this year as far as bringing on new products. For me, I make a lot of the video content here at Heat Press Nation. So I get to test everything. Every new printer that goes up on our website, we get one here. I film some content with it, and then I turn it over to our tech support team. And then I work with tech support to help make sure that we understand what it can do and how it works. So my mind is just mush now of so many different printers and so many different products that we got to use. But it's fun. It definitely keeps the job interesting for sure.
That's so incredible. So I just have to know, and this is a little bit of a personal side note, were you working with all of these machines before you came to Heat Press Nation?
No. So when I first started at Heat Press Nation, I've been here almost 9 years now, and I had experience in graphic design before. That was my job before, but it was mostly part time. And the work was drying up a little bit, and so I was dating who is now my wife, my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, dude, I need money. I need a real job, right? So even further back, I do have a background in customer service, so I was like, well, I know I could score a full-time call center job anywhere, right? First interview was Heat Press Nation. I got my training, and then I had never touched a heat press or a printer before in my life. But within a few weeks, I was sold. I ended up buying my own equipment and started making shirts on my own after maybe like a month or two of working here, and been pressing ever since. I've pressed literally tens of thousands of items since I've been here.
That's so incredible. So, I agree with you with this year being about DTF. Like, I had almost really never even heard of it. I'd
Yeah.
like kind of started hearing inklings about it in 2023. And then some of my designers were all like, Karina, I think we should get into DTF and we should do this and that. And I was just like, what? What are you guys talking about? We're not doing that. Don't get
Yes.
crazy, right? And
Yep.
then it was like, it's been, I mean, my whole team was like, Karina, we should start a DTF shop and we should da 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 da. And I'm just like, hey guys, let's focus in here. But I mean, it is so thrilling what you really can do with those machines.
Yeah. Do you guys do any 3D printing by chance?
Not very
Okay.
much 3D printing either.
S-
Nope.
So when DTF first came around, we had already explored 3D printing. And 3D printing, we made the decision, you know what? We don't really see that it has the momentum in our industry. Of course, there's applications of elsewhere, but we're like, we don't really see it here for us, so we're going to pass on 3D printing. So when direct to film came around, we were like, had kind of a similar vibe. So it did take us a little while to get in. We were very, I don't want to say apprehensive, but we like to think of the customer first. Here at Heat Press Nation, we're like, okay, but how? Like, it's expensive, and so we think of all the pros and cons before we bring on a new product, and so, but then it just didn't die. We were first. I want to say we were first introduced to DTF maybe 2020.
Hmm.
Um, and then so we took us a little while to get into it. Again, considering the customers, also we and I'm proud of this to say we offer free lifetime tech support on all of our products. So if anybody buys anything from us, they could call us and talk to somebody here in the US and get help. So if there's a certain method that's gonna like absolutely swamp our phone lines, we might be a little bit more hesitant to pick it up. And so, but the technology kind of grew and got better and more refined. And then it got to a point where it's like, wait a second, this stuff is pretty accessible now. It's pretty, not, I wouldn't say easy to use, but anyone can use it. Um, okay, wait, hold on. And then it got to a point where like, okay, we can't ignore, we got to dive into this. And it's been great. I'm a convert. I used to be against it. Now I love it. Kind of like Canva. I used to hate Canva, and now I love it. I use it all the time. So yeah, it's been really interesting, the journey, and I'm stoked. I love it.
Okay, so if you have never heard of DTF before, like if you're listening to this for the first time, now I've had a couple of other guests on before who've talked about DTF as part of the thing that they like to do. But if you have never heard of it before, Jared, can you explain why it's so different than an SVG file that you're cutting out in vinyl or a sublimation where you're like, putting a PNG file directly onto a shirt? Tell me, like, why is DTF so different?
Sure, that's a great question. DTF is different because from a design aspect, everything has to be solid. So you do have to have solid opacity on all of your designs. The way it works is you print a DTF printer will print all your graphics in full color, CMYK, and then on top of it, it'll lay down a complete layer of white to add that white base layer. For anyone who's familiar with sublimation, you know that with sublimation, because it prints only CMYK, no white, you could only sublimate onto white. And in fact, I hope no. Oh, here I have a sample right here of. Oh no, that's white. I have a million T-shirts here. Oh, I'm wearing one. So this is a direct to film T-shirt. Go Dodgers! We're playing tonight. um, anyway, so this shirt is direct to film, and the original graphic had some transparency to it. There were some gradients that were solid to fully transparent, and as a gradient on sublimation, that's not an issue. But with a black T-shirt, right, a cotton T-shirt, you need full opacity underneath the entire graphic. So what these printers do is they'll print your full graphic in CMYK, and then on top of that print, they'll also lay over a full layer of white, so you get full opacity, which is great because then you could press your graphics on any color garment.
Mhm.
So unlike sublimation, sublimation again, white or light colored garments. If anyone's worked with like heat transfer paper, like inkjet heat transfer paper, like I love Nina Jet Pro Soft Stretch. That's only for white or light colored garments. So this, and unlike vinyl, you get full color graphics. I technically could do this in vinyl if I wanted to layer each and every individual color and cut that out separately. Direct to film is going to print everything at once. You press everything at once. So it's just really easy. And then pressing the transfer itself onto the garment, incredibly easy.
Yeah.
Just as easy as vinyl, which makes it great because even if you don't have a direct to film printer, you could order direct to film transfers. We do carry those, by the way, at Heat Press Nation. They're called True Print Custom Transfers. So if you just have artwork, you could send it to us. We'll print it, and then you could press this yourself, your own equipment, your own garments.
Yeah, so incredible. Okay, so tell me this, is there a limitation on, in sublimation, everything has to be polyester. Is there a limitation with DTF?
No, if you could heat press it, you could DTF it. So this is a black cotton T-shirt, no special treatment on the T-shirt. All the magic is in the DTF transfer. So there's a special powder adhesive that goes onto the ink. And then when you cure the adhesive and the ink together, You could, again, if you could heat press it, you could do it. We don't recommend using, in general, like heat sensitive fabrics like acrylic. It won't. We say don't use acrylic not because the transfer won't stick, but because acrylic scorches at a very low temperature.
Yeah.
So as long as your item, whether it's a hat, sweater, jacket, I've seen people do really cool graphics on like denim jackets. As long as you can heat press it, yeah, you can customize it.
Yeah. So what, well, I should ask this. What is the range, because it is a big one, of cost for these printers?
Yeah, so I want to say our most affordable printer is going to be an A4 size printer, which I believe has like a 7.8-inch print width, somewhere around there. That printer starts once you buy the ink and the film and everything, you're paying around $2,400, roughly. Our
Which is
most expensive,
really inexpensive for like DTF. Okay. Like that is like
right?
when I first started looking into it, like all the machines I was looking at, I was just like, okay, this is like, I'm going to have to do this and it's going to have its own room. And, but so 2,400, I know some of you are like, what? But that is a really inexpensive DTF.
Yeah, especially when you consider everything. For example, if you want to customize a black cotton T-shirt and you don't want to cut or weed anything, and you want to do a full color design, and you want it today, there's really only a few options. You could buy a direct to garment printer, um, and those bad boys start. The most affordable one right now is something like the Epson. I think it's the F1070. It's like 9 grand or 8 or 9 grand, right? You get a 10 by 12-inch print area on that. So there's one option. Or direct to film. Now we're talking like 2,400. So it is very viable. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than something like white toner, but the transfer itself is going to be a lot more durable than what you'd get from a white toner transfer. And I love white toner, but just if we're comparing different print methods, yeah, this is going to be really solid.
Okay. Tell me why would you buy a DTF machine? So if you were someone that was like just hanging out, you're listening to this, what are the best applications? Is it owning a business? Is it commercial use to other, like, I mean, tell me what you know about the people who are buying these.
Yeah, so to me, it's really, I would say it's kind of competing. What's cool about DTF is once you have the printer, you could serve two customer bases. You could make transfers for people, and I doggone that I don't have an actual sample on me right at this moment. I might. So sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Anyways, I usually have samples like everywhere, but I just cleaned my desk. Anyways, so you could sell just the sample, just the transfer to people. Somebody doesn't own an expensive DTF printer, but they want a full color graphic on their shirt. They could send you their artwork, kind of like what we do, on a much larger scale. But on a smaller scale, you could have people locally or on the internet. You could have access to everybody. You could sell just transfers to people, let them heat press it themselves, and make your money there. Or you could produce what everybody we call it garment decoration. You could produce a finished product. You could sell people a fully customized T-shirt. Both of those, I feel like they're equal. So if you're buying a direct to film printer, you're at the very least wanting to create custom garments for people in full color. You don't want the limitations that are with sublimation. Maybe you want to do more colors than what's accessible with vinyl, and so you really, again, you want full color graphics. You don't want to cut or weed, and you want to be able to press them relatively quickly within a few minutes of printing, or of even having the idea or somebody sending you the graphic. You want to kind of print on demand.
Yeah.
So that's really where DTF shines. And then not just garments, garment decoration, but again, you can do the print, just the transfers. Have your machine run a big long run of prints, cure all those, get those shipped out. So it's pretty cool. It is going to be for businesses mostly. There are hobbyists who do direct to film, but it's pretty rare just due to the price point. Not everybody has 2,400 to spend on a hobby. If you do, that's awesome. I personally don't. so so I got to make a business out of this if I want to bring one of these printers home. But yeah, that's typically who we're seeing. There's small businesses who want to do either of the different products that you could make with DTF.
So cool. Okay, super duper cool. Now, I know we've been talking about a lot about DTF, and I think it's like the cool new thing, and it's the
Yeah.
thing that I think we should continue conversations on. But Heat Press Nation is really cool because you can get so many other things there. I mean, I have a clamshell, I have two tumbler wraps for
Mhm.
sublimation, I have a sawgrass machine. Tell us some of the things, other things that you can get at Heat Press Nation that's so incredible.
Sure. So we support almost, and almost is going to be changing very soon to every. But we support almost every method of heat transfer out there. So heat transfer is a really broad term. Basically, if you have to heat it up to put it on something, that's a heat transfer. And we support nearly everything. The most popular is going to be heat transfer vinyl. So we have all your vinyl, all the vinyl cutters, and of course the heat presses. We support sublimation. We have a lot of sublimation printers. The inks, you have so many thousands of blank items. Everything that I do have a sample of, like everything from like coffee mugs to this really cool. This is me and my wife. Oh, that's funny. It's blurring. There we go. This is like a stone slate. This is
Oh,
actual
that's
stone.
cool.
Yeah, and so, so photographers love this sort of thing. In fact, if anybody's familiar with like Shutterfly, Shutterfly uses a ton, not of our blanks, but in general, Shutterfly fulfills a lot of their orders with sublimation. Completely support sublimation. Direct to film, we have all the popular direct to film printers, supplies, all of that. White toner is another one. If you want full color on a super budget, you could do something like an inkjet heat transfer. We support all of that. The reason why I say almost, which is going to change soon, is direct to garment.
Mm.
Direct to garment is where you load the printer into the machine and the ink actually gets blasted straight onto the t-shirt. That's going to be coming
Yeah.
soon.
You know what? I hadn't seen that until I was in Japan this last June. There is like a really
Oh,
popular store that they do like they do it in the store, like where you
mhm.
just like it's crazy. I was like, what the heck? This is insane. And they have all these
Yeah.
designs and anyway, so incredible. I really love everything you guys do. Tell me a little bit about the education piece because I know you had that.
Yeah, so I am and I kind of gave myself this title, but no, I am the head of education here at Heat Press Nation. And that's something it's a role that I've grown into here at Heat Press Nation, but really, education is something I've been doing since I was like 15. I don't want to say how old I am now, but it's been at least 20 years. So, so pretty much once I aged out of Sunday school at my church, I started teaching Sunday school at my church to the small kids and kids. You have to engage them if you want them to listen to a Sunday school story or lesson. So I learned very quickly how to keep an audience engaged, how to get through the content, how to get through the lesson and all of that. And so whether it's been Sunday school or just teaching people how to do certain things like guitar classes, like I do private guitar lessons. So really, I've been teaching in some, not professionally, like in a school, but I've been instructing or showing people how to do things, we'll say, for like the past 20 years. So it's something that kind of came naturally here at Heat Press Nation. My first few months here, they're like, "Hey, somebody wants us to give a conference at or to give a seminar at their conference. Is anybody down?" And nobody was down, and I was like, "I'll do it. I don't, 3 days in Atlanta. Okay, sure, I'm down." And it kind of just grew from there. Eventually, we needed somebody to be on camera to give the video tutorials, and like nobody else was around. I was like, I'll do it, whatever. And so it's kind of grown from there. And so now what it's turned into is I teach we have 4 classes every week here at Heat Press Nation that are taught live on sublimation, general heat pressing, white toner, and direct to film. I teach 2 of those classes, and then we have another instructor. She teaches 2 of the classes. I developed all of those classes. We have a few master classes that are available. We're working on a direct to film one right now, which should hopefully be available by the time this airs. But yeah, so basically anything educational, tutorial. It's mostly I'm responsible for producing most of that content. Of course, we do have our social media manager. Shout out to Ronnie. She's actually the blurred person right there. She also produces some of the educational content that you're finding on Instagram. So education's big for us. we're not like super salesy where it's like, you will buy this heat press. It's more like, hey, here's what a heat press can do for you. And if you have questions, we'll help you out. And we kind of present it in that way. And I appreciate that about a company. I hate when people try to oversell me on something. Just tell me what it does and how I can make money with it. So that's
Yeah.
kind of our approach here.
I think that's one of my favorite things about Heat Press Nation. So like when I went on there to buy a couple of other things and we've given away sawgrasses and stuff like that. So we've gone on and bought stuff. I always love that I can click on and it's you sit there and you're like, this is how you do this and how you make it. And I'm like, oh, that's so helpful because I wouldn't have known, like I would have just like kind of worked my way through and figured it out. But to have someone there doing it, I think is so powerful. And I think that's one of the best things I like about Heat Press Nation is all
Oh,
the
thank you.
education you guys give. That education piece really helps me know, like, do I want a white toner or do I want a DTF, right? Like it
Yeah.
kind of helps you figure out what's the best for you.
Yeah, exactly. We have this saying here. It's like there's not one product that's right for everybody, just what's right for you. And so our goal, if you call in to talk to one of our sales reps or you join me for a class or whatever, our goal is not to, of course, we want to sell you something, but it's not necessarily like you will buy. It's more like, hey, we're going to find out what's right for you. If it's not the most expensive heat press, that's cool. We haven't, our sales team, when I first started, we were on commission. Probably like 8 years ago, we eliminated commission just to give our sales reps the freedom to just have conversations. If you call us, like our call center, which is crazy to me, there's no time limit. Every call center I've ever worked at, and I've worked at about 5 in my career, they always measure how long you're on the phone. If anybody's ever worked in a call center, you know. Here at Heat Press Nation, when I started, I was like, yeah, so what's the average, how long should we be keeping the calls? And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, like, and it turns out there's no time limits. Regularly, we'll be talking to customers 30, 45 minutes, an hour, if it means connecting them to the right equipment for their business. And again, it's something that not very common, and we're pretty proud of that.
That's incredible. So, so good. You said something before this call. You said you guys were the number one. Tell me the rest of this.
So we are the number one independent retailer of heat presses in the country. The only company that ships more heat presses than Heat Press Nation is Amazon, and that's because I'm going to be honest. Look, I get it. People are on budgets. I love saving money. Amazon has a lot of these bargain heat presses that are. I'll just say this: a lot of our customers call us after their Amazon press breaks down.
Yes.
I'll say that. And so it's funny. So to kind of combat that, we've actually started selling our heat presses on Amazon, so people can actually find a quality product there. But yeah, back to your point. Yeah, we ship more heat presses than anybody else except for Amazon.
Yeah, so incredible. I mean, what a cool thing to be able to say. And I know you guys have several warehouses. You're all over the country and you're doing some amazing things. Okay, so I know everybody wants to know this. This is coming out the week before Black Friday. Do you guys have anything cool coming up that they need to know about? Anything that you would like really also stress for Christmas time or for 2025?
Yeah, so if you are looking for a deal, head on over to heatpressnation.com. We always start our Black Friday sales a full week early. So Black Friday this year, I don't have my calendar. Actually, I do have a calendar right here. Let's see. Black Friday this year, so everybody can be prepared. It starts, Black Friday is the 29th. We will be starting our sale. I don't have this in concrete yet, but it's either the 17th or the 18th. It's like the Sunday or Monday before that week. So our customers get like almost 2 weeks ahead of Black Friday. We start launching our sales. So yeah, Black Friday is a great time to save on heat presses. We always save our best deals of the year for Black Friday. So sometimes we'll get calls, right? It's like, well, what if this goes on a better sale for President's Day? And I'm like, dude, it's not. Like, yeah, it's not. Black Friday is our biggest sale of the year. Something that's really new for us is and here's the funny thing, at the time of this recording, these are in the pipeline right now. They will be launched by Black Friday, but we have our double station heat presses, which if you are a business and you just want to crank t-shirts, you just want to maximize your workflow and print as many shirts as possible, our double station pneumatic heat press is so awesome. It's air powered. You could while you're pressing on one station, you're putting your shirt on the next one. When it's done, you just switch back and forth. It's so doggone fast. So it might be sold out by the time. We're anticipating it to be very popular. It's probably one of the most exciting products we've brought on in a few years. So I'm very excited about that. A few other things that I can't mention here, but that'll be coming online very, very soon. Will probably be out by the time this airs. But yeah, I'm really excited for that double station. We have a standard auto open and then a completely automatic pneumatic. Automatic pneumatic. That's a crazy tongue twister. We have a fully automatic version that's air powered. It's pneumatic, and then a standard auto open double station. These are going to be great for anybody who just one press is not fast enough. Get the double station, and your output's going to just go through the roof.
Incredible. So good. I love it so much. Guys, we're going to put links for you in the show notes of the podcast and then definitely here on YouTube so you can go check it out and go see what's going on. Jared, thank you so much for being on. We love Heat Press Nation. I think you guys are going to see that they really do have amazing customer service. They have such good products. And if you're really wanting to see what's new, where else can people find you guys?
Yeah, so yeah, we are very active on our Instagram right now. It's at Heat Press Nation. Don't look for us on Twitter. You're not going to find much. But of course, heatpressnation.com. We do have live chat support with humans. We don't use any of the AI bots for our live chat support. You can always call and speak to a phone representative, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. We got you guys covered. Free classes, so much to find over at heatpressnation.com. And if I could make a real quick comment on customer service. So we have total between Google and Facebook, we have over 4,600 reviews. And of those 4,600 reviews, we are averaging something like 4.8 or 4.9 stars, which we are extremely proud of. That means that well over 90, what is that? Somewhere around 98% of our reviews are 5-star or positive. That's something you can't fake. And honestly, that's something we are extremely proud of. And so when our customers ask, well, are you guys legit? Or people who've never heard of us before, go through the reviews. We are very much proud of our reviews. Feel free to check out our reviews on Google and Facebook. We're very proud of that. We don't like to brag on much, but we will brag on how committed we are to our customers.
So incredible. You guys go check it out. Check out the links here. And if you've been really, had your eye on DTF, sublimation, or anything else like that, go check them out for Black Friday. Thank you again, Jared, for being on. And we will see you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.